You might wonder, if Jesus is God, why did he pray to God? This question has puzzled many, but the answer reveals a profound truth about his nature and mission. The act of Jesus praying, despite being divine, opens a window into the depths of his dual nature as both fully God and fully man. This mystery isn't just a theological puzzle. It holds deep significance for understanding who Jesus is and what he came to accomplish. To unravel this, we need to explore the reasons behind his prayers, their implications for his identity, and what they teach us about our own relationship with God. Understanding why Jesus prayed is crucial because it helps us comprehend his dual nature as both divine and human. Without this understanding, we might miss the deeper meaning of his teachings and life. If we don't grasp the significance of Jesus' prayers, we could misunderstand his mission and the example he set for us. It's not just about knowing facts. It's about seeing the heart of his relationship with God the Father and how it reflects his role as our Savior. Misinterpreting this aspect could lead to a shallow view of his sacrifice and love. Therefore, recognizing the reasons behind Jesus' prayers can transform our perspective, deepen our faith, and enrich our spiritual journey. Jesus was both fully God and fully man. This concept, known as the hypostatic union, means that Jesus has two natures in one person. As God, he had divine authority and power. He performed miracles, forgave sins, and claimed unity with the Father. These actions demonstrated his divinity clearly. However, Jesus also lived a truly human life. He was born, grew up, felt hunger and thirst, experienced joy and sorrow, and ultimately suffered and died. This human experience wasn't a disguise or mere appearance. It was real and profound. The prayers of Jesus highlight this dual nature. When Jesus prayed, it wasn't because he lacked divine power, but because he embraced the fullness of humanity. As a human, he experienced the need for communion with God, seeking strength, guidance, and comfort. His prayers are a testament to his authentic human experience. They show that even in his divinity, he did not abandon the genuine needs and expressions of human life. This duality is essential to understanding Jesus' mission. His human experiences make him relatable to us, while his divine nature assures us of his power to save and transform. In understanding Jesus' humanity and divinity, we see that his prayers were a bridge between his human experiences and his divine mission. He wasn't praying out of necessity as God, but as a perfect example for us. His prayers teach us about dependence on God, trust in God's plan, and the importance of maintaining a deep, personal relationship with the Father. This dual nature of Jesus, where divinity meets humanity, is the cornerstone of Christian faith, illustrating how God reached out to humanity in the most personal and intimate way possible. Jesus prayed to God the Father to demonstrate his dependence on him and to model for us how to seek God's guidance and strength. His prayers were a way to maintain his connection with the Father. In the Gospels, we see numerous instances of Jesus praying, sometimes in solitude, sometimes in public. Each prayer serves a specific purpose and reveals different aspects of his relationship with God. One of the primary purposes of Jesus' prayers was to show his complete trust in God. Despite being divine, Jesus chose to live a fully human life, which included the limitations and struggles that come with it. By praying, he acknowledged his reliance on the Father for strength, wisdom, and direction. This act of prayer was not a sign of weakness, but a profound expression of his humble acceptance of his human condition. Moreover, Jesus' prayers were also meant to teach his followers about the importance of prayer. He often withdrew to quiet places to pray, setting an example for his disciples and for us today. Through his prayers, Jesus demonstrated the necessity of regular, heartfelt communication with God. He showed that prayer is not just about asking for things, but about building a deep, personal relationship with the Father. This relationship is characterized by trust, love, and a desire to align one's will with God's will. Jesus' prayers also served as a source of strength and comfort. In moments of great stress and sorrow, such as in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus turned to prayer to seek solace and guidance. His heartfelt prayers in the garden, where he asked for the cup of suffering to be taken away if possible, reveal his deep anguish and his ultimate submission to God's will. This moment underscores the profound humanity of Jesus, his vulnerability, and his unwavering commitment to fulfilling his mission. Jesus' prayers show us the importance of communication with God. He taught us to pray with sincerity and trust, seeking God's will in all things. In the Lord's Prayer, Jesus provided a template for prayer that emphasizes the key elements of worship, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. This prayer, given to his disciples, encapsulates the essence of a meaningful conversation with God. The way Jesus prayed also teaches us about the attitude we should have in prayer. His prayers were marked by humility, honesty, and a deep sense of reverence. He approached God with a heart full of love and trust, knowing that the Father always hears and cares. This attitude is something we are encouraged to emulate in our own prayer lives. By praying with humility and sincerity, we open ourselves to a deeper relationship with God, where we can find guidance, peace, and strength. Another important lesson from Jesus' prayers is the persistence in prayer. Jesus often prayed for extended periods, sometimes all night, showing the value of perseverance. He didn't give up after a few minutes, but continued to seek God's presence and guidance earnestly. This persistence is a powerful reminder that prayer is not a quick fix, but a continual process of seeking and aligning with God's will. Jesus' prayers also highlight the importance of praying for others. He often interceded on behalf of his disciples, asking God to protect and guide them. This aspect of prayer, known as intercession, is a vital part of our prayer life. By praying for others, we participate in God's work in their lives, showing love and compassion and trusting in God's power to bring about change and healing. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus prayed earnestly, expressing his anguish and seeking strength. This moment is one of the most poignant in the Gospels, highlighting Jesus' deep emotional struggle as he faced the imminent crucifixion. His prayer in the garden reveals his humanity in a profound way, showing that even Jesus experienced fear, sorrow, and the desire for another way. Jesus' prayer in Gethsemane is significant for several reasons. Firstly, it shows his total submission to God's will. Despite his plea for the cup of suffering to be taken away, Jesus ultimately prayed, "Yet not my will, but yours be done." This submission is a powerful example of trust and obedience, even in the face of immense suffering. It teaches us about the importance of surrendering our own desires and trusting in God's greater plan. Secondly, this prayer highlights the intensity of Jesus' human experience. His agony was so great that he sweated drops of blood, a rare physical response to extreme stress known as hematidrosis. This detail underscores the depth of his emotional and physical suffering, making his sacrifice all the more meaningful. Jesus' willingness to endure such pain out of love for humanity is a testament to his compassion and dedication. Finally, the Garden of Gethsemane prayer shows the importance of seeking God's strength in difficult times. Jesus turned to prayer in his darkest hour, finding the courage and resolve to face the crucifixion. This act of turning to God for support is something we can learn from. When we face challenges and hardships, prayer can be a source of comfort and strength, helping us to endure and overcome. The significance of the Garden of Gethsemane lies in its portrayal of Jesus' humanity, his submission to God's will, and the power of prayer in times of great trial. It is a reminder that even in our darkest moments, we can turn to God for strength and guidance, trusting in his plan and finding peace in his presence. Prayer was central to Jesus' ministry. He often withdrew to pray, seeking guidance and strength for his mission. His frequent retreats to solitary places for prayer highlight the importance he placed on maintaining a close relationship with the Father. This pattern of seeking solitude for prayer is seen throughout the Gospels. From the early mornings to the late nights, Jesus consistently prioritized time alone with God. Jesus' ministry was marked by significant moments of prayer. Before choosing his 12 disciples, he spent an entire night in prayer. This shows that major decisions in his ministry were preceded by seeking God's will and direction. By doing this, Jesus demonstrated the necessity of aligning our actions with God's plan through prayer. It was through these times of prayer that he received the strength and clarity needed for his ministry. Moreover, prayer was not just a private practice for Jesus. He also prayed publicly, teaching his disciples and others the importance of prayer. His public prayers, such as when he blessed the bread and fish before feeding the multitude, or when he raised Lazarus from the dead, were powerful demonstrations of his reliance on God. These prayers reinforced the message that all power and provision come from the Father. Jesus also taught his disciples about the importance of persistent prayer. In the parable of the persistent widow, he encouraged them to keep praying and not give up. This teaching emphasizes that prayer is not just a one-time act, but a continuous, ongoing practice. Through persistent prayer, we demonstrate our faith and trust in God's timing and provision. Jesus and the Father had a unique, intimate relationship. His prayers reflect this closeness, showing his deep love and obedience to the Father's will. Jesus often spoke of his unity with the Father, saying, "I and the Father are one." This statement reflects the profound connection and mutual indwelling between Jesus and God the Father. Their relationship was characterized by perfect harmony and love. This intimate relationship is evident in Jesus' prayers. He addressed God as Abba, an Aramaic term that conveys a deep sense of intimacy and affection, akin to daddy. This term reflects the close, personal relationship Jesus had with the Father. It also sets an example for us, showing that we too can approach God with the same level of intimacy and trust. The relationship between Jesus and the Father is also characterized by mutual glorification. Jesus often prayed for the Father to be glorified through his actions, and the Father, in turn, glorified Jesus. This mutual glorification highlights the unity and shared purpose in their relationship. Jesus' ultimate goal was to fulfill the Father's will and bring glory to him, even when it led to the cross. Jesus' obedience to the Father is another key aspect of their relationship. He consistently submitted to the Father's will, even when it meant enduring great suffering. This obedience was not out of obligation, but out of love and trust. Jesus knew that the Father's plans were perfect and that his will was always good. This trust and obedience are central to understanding the depth of their relationship. Jesus is our mediator, bridging the gap between God and humanity. His prayers illustrate his role in interceding for us, showing his commitment to our salvation. As the mediator, Jesus stands between us and God, advocating on our behalf. This role is beautifully depicted in his high priestly prayer in John 17, where he prays for his disciples and all believers. In this prayer, Jesus asks the Father to protect his followers, to sanctify them in truth, and to unite them. This intercessory prayer shows Jesus' deep concern for his followers and his desire for their well-being. He prays for their protection from evil, their growth in holiness, and their unity. This prayer continues to resonate today, as Jesus is still interceding for us at the right hand of the Father. Jesus' role as mediator is also seen in his sacrifice on the cross. Through his death and resurrection, he made it possible for us to be reconciled with God. His prayers on the cross, such as "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing," highlight his role as mediator and his deep love for humanity. These prayers demonstrate his willingness to forgive and his desire for our redemption. As our mediator, Jesus not only intercedes for us, but also provides us with a direct line to the Father. Through him, we have access to God and can approach him with confidence. This access is a profound gift, allowing us to bring our prayers and petitions directly to God, knowing that Jesus is advocating for us. Understanding why Jesus prayed to God, even though he is God, reveals the depth of his love and humility. His prayers teach us about reliance on God, the importance of communication with him, and the profound mystery of Jesus' dual nature. By examining the various aspects of Jesus' prayer life, we gain insights into his relationship with the Father, his role as our mediator, and the example he set for us. Jesus' humanity and divinity are beautifully intertwined in his prayers, showing us that even the Son of God found strength and guidance in communion with the Father. His prayers demonstrate his complete trust and obedience, his deep love and compassion, and his unwavering commitment to fulfilling his mission. By following Jesus' example, we can deepen our own relationship with God, learning to pray with sincerity, humility, and persistence. We can find comfort and strength in prayer, knowing that Jesus himself relied on the Father in times of need. And we can take heart, knowing that Jesus continues to intercede for us, advocating on our behalf and drawing us closer to God. Embrace this understanding to deepen your faith and relationship with God. Let the example of Jesus' prayers inspire you to seek a closer, more intimate connection with the Father, and to trust in his guidance and provision in every aspect of your life.